Good morning, welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 24th of August. Now if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I do discuss a lot about the Great Awakening process as well as current global energies. So I'll close my eyes, we'll get started and we'll see what comes up. Now, I'm getting that people are finding they're getting parts of their life back. So it feels like... Now, I've talked a lot on this channel about the false normal, and we know that these government leaders and elites are very good at pretending to give people back their false normal. And we know it's not real because they're still in the background hovering and circling like the sharks, wanting to get their reset agenda out. But the people waking up feel like they're getting this little bit of normality. It feels like now that sort of, I guess we could say the pandemic's subsided and sort of eased off a little bit, apart from Mpox, which no one seems to be interested in anyway. It feels like their lives are kind of starting to get back to some sort of feelings of normality and freedom. But as we all know here on my channel, that's not going to be the case because they don't realise what's underlying and what's being implemented by stealth, by government and all the parliamentary leaders and all the people that own everything, the big corporate, as we all know here on my channel. But I am getting that feeling these people think, oh, good, we're sort of, you know, they're backing, government's backing away from us a little bit. Well, we know on this channel that's not the case because they're not backing away from anything. They get thrown off their course. We often talk about their red carpet had to be rolled up recently with the great rollout of the reset agenda, and they've had to put it away temporarily. But don't worry, it's there. Like I said, Trudeau's vacuuming his off, ready for the next big, you know, agenda or big awards ceremony, I guess you could call it, meaning what they're bringing out next. Now I know you got that CAN app, is it, in Canada, and there's just so much controversy around that, isn't there? It's like, oh my gosh, oh, it's not rolling out smoothly. That is an example of their things aren't just going to plan because people just don't want it. They forgot to pass things by the people. They forget that part, which is always a major part to leave out. Like I say, if you haven't got a good foundation on your plan, your house is going to crumble, isn't it? Because it's not stable, because you forgot to include all the little people in the decision-making process. I've said that all the way through my videos. Let's see where else we go with this today. Yeah, and they're saying it. Trudeau is capturing a lot of attention globally. There's a lot of people looking at Canada with this CAN app and how harsh they've been. There's still a lot of eyes on Canada because a lot of us, and I can tell you now here in Australia, perhaps New Zealand too, and other countries as well, a lot of us look at Canada because he pushed so fast with that reset. He hit people too hard and it highlighted to the rest of the world, here's what's coming next. And so we all look to Canada to see what's coming next. Oh, they've got the CAN app. Okay, that means pretty much Australia, New Zealand, every other country's going to start to get, what are we going to get, the Oz app? Or, you know, this is what we're, NZ app, you know. This is what people are thinking now. They're knowing that, hang on, if Canada's got that, we seem to follow suit and probably we're going to get that. So these are the things that are starting to be highlighted to other people, which causes them to wake up, as long as we all sort of share and spread the information, because we all know here on my channel, it's of course never public knowledge. They never have the Canada app on the mainstream news here in Australia. I'm sure they probably don't even have it on the news in Canada. So globally, we know these things aren't ever going to be on mainstream media because they want to implement these things before people see them, very sneakily, as usual. So that's what I'm getting now. People, as long as we keep sharing bits of information, like I said, maybe stay away from the jab information. It's a bit sensitive to a lot of people out there. Whenever I get people commenting, and I'm sure you guys have seen them on my channel here down below, you get the odd person who's very defensive about the jab. I don't know why, but perhaps they're still in the mass psychosis. And that's fine. We just leave them to that because We know how complex that area gets. So we tend to stay away, and that's my advice for you guys as well from the guides. Just stay away from the jab event because it is a very prickly subject, like a little cactus. It's very prickly. You don't really want to touch it, is my advice to you. There's certain things, of course, that we know here on my channel, but yeah, unless you want to be getting attacked, I would probably focus on a lot of the other parts of the agenda. And we know there's a lot of other parts to the agenda. I would say it's pretty much, the guides are saying it's like a never-ending list of things that the government want to change and touch, which we already know. But little things keep popping up as well. We sort of had a basic, I know if you're here on my channel, we all had a basic idea of the Great Reset agenda. But then I did say there was more to the agenda. Well, we know about the iceberg and how much is beneath the surface. You only see that little tip of the iceberg. But then suddenly they started looking at the health areas and other areas. So we know there's always more coming out. And they're manipulating all the systems. We know how it goes for their own advantage, of course, for their own advantage. So there's lots of money and wealth to be gained in the background for big corporate, big tech, all these giant elites that are making all the money. Meanwhile, little people are getting squashed beyond survival. Like, they can hardly survive now with the way the economy is crashing. Let's just see where else we go with this today. I'm getting Africa today. I do feel like Africa's trying to become a more independent nation. I don't understand what's really going on there, but I am getting that word. They push back a lot against these tyrannical dictators and elites. They don't like them coming in and interfering. To me, it's saying like Africa's got enough problems of its own, and I think we could pretty much all admit that that's true. They have a lot of this infighting and political problems anyway. So, they're saying the word like apartheid and all that stuff, but they don't want to have these medical battles like these with Big Pharma and all this sort of stuff. They're trying to stay detached. And we know, a lot of us here know that they tried different methods during that pandemic as well. And mind you, quite successful actually. They handed out some sort of special packages with vitamins and all sorts of things, I think, in Africa to a lot of the people, and it worked really quite well. Other places have done that as well. I can't remember who it was. It might have been India. Yeah, I think it was India. Anyway, so I'll get Africa's trying to remain sort of detached and a little bit more independent. I'll just see where else we go. I'm getting Britain. I feel like Britain, you might be hearing something very soon about who's taking over there. I think, we all know it's pretty much going to be a global leader. We all sort of have that gut feeling here on my channel. But I do feel like you're going to hear that soon. I still get that uprising, and it might be because when that person comes in, they start to take over the narrative, and then they're going to sort of hit people hard, but not as hard as some of these other fools that we know, like, around the country. But they're going to have these, I would say, alarm words that people are going to realise what's going on. So there's going to be these words, how they try to drop their subliminal messages, like we're going to build back better, we're going to improve our renewables moving forward, we're going to set deadlines. I do feel like you're going to have a little bit of those red flags, I guess you could say, coming out of their mouth. We know it's coming. You know it's coming. We all know it's coming. No country misses out. Not really. So I am getting that. You're getting a lot closer now. Things are going to start unfolding. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Britain. And they're saying to you, always remember they use the monarchy, which is the royals and all this, as a big distraction. Because we know all these things are really intertwined in the background. We know how far back all this goes with all these families in the background, these elite people in power, which are, I guess you could call them the puppet masters, we call them here, don't we, that are way, way back that nobody gets to see. But I do feel like just be aware that they're always, whenever they're focused on the monarchy and these royals, that it's always a distraction for what's happening over here. So that's something to be really aware of, like in Britain and like the UK and these areas, is there's a lot of very clever distractions going on to get everyone's mind off all this over here that they're trying to, put the red carpet out and roll out their red carpet reset agenda. So that's something to just, we're always aware of it here on my channel anyway, but that's just letting you know that suddenly there'll be some big drama again with the royals or the monarchy, and we know how it goes. And that plays out on a global scale too, like plays out rather on the global stage, because we even get to see that here in Australia and every other country pretty much, because Australia is connected as well, I know, but some other countries are too. So we get fed a lot of that information around the royals. So just be aware of that. While that's happening, all this is happening. That will be just the tip of the iceberg over here with the royals and the monarchy. Everything else is what's under the water of the iceberg. So that's for like UK, Britain, any of those regions. They're going to be using big distraction methods. God, they're good at it, aren't they? Hang on a sec. Let's see what else we get. I keep getting it. I've had it for a while. Germany is rising. Germany, Belgium, Munich, France. There's a lot going on over there. I think they're pushing things. They're really pushing those boundaries with the people over there. And it's causing things to shake. It's showing like people are now in this earth tremor, earthquake energy, more earth tremor, where things are really feeling shaky now for people in these areas. And it's making them feel very unstable. So that's when when things feel unstable, you get people kind of rising up into their power and their strength, because they're having to get into that. I often talk about that here with us. You've got to get into that stable position where your legs are kind of spread out. Your arms are on, your hands are on your hips, and you've got a wider stance. Well, I feel like that's showing the people in Germany and around these regions, is that they've got a wider stance now. They're feeling stronger in themselves, and they feel like they can react better to government. So I do feel, even though things are shaky, I feel like they're not going to fall over there. They're going to stand up. It's showing me they've just got a much stronger and like wider stride, the people over there. Like they can move forward with this sort of strength and stability now. Something's really shifted there. There's been a real shift. Yeah, there has. They're just a lot more stable, and they're willing to sort of fight back. I think they've done it before and they got quite squashed. A lot of them got squashed, and it took a lot of I would say healing and time to get back that energy to come back up again. It's like us, well, it's like I talk about the castaways. When you get knocked over wave after wave by government and all the garbage they're putting onto people, they're finally kind of, I said they were getting up, a lot of these people are castaways. This is everybody that's waking up. They were on all fours, but now I really feel like they're rising up. They're really getting into that stable power now where they're seeing the waves coming. And they'd have to be. They've had so much thrown at them that they're able to get their stability now, and they're feeling stronger because, as we know, government did back off a little bit because they hit everyone too hard, and it's given people that little, as weird as it sounds, it's given people time to breathe and catch their breath. And see, government doesn't think about those things because they just think, oh, well, if we just back off, people won't wake up. But not realising that it allows people to catch their breath and then get their own strength back. But see, this is where government has not planned all this out really well. They haven't thought about it. So, and then people come together and support each other, and it gives them more strength in numbers. This is what's currently happening. People have caught their breath, and now they're more stable. This is the people waking up. All right, let's see where else we go. I'm getting something about France, actually. There's something about the opinion polls, or there's something going to the vote. There's something happening in France that's going to work at shifting the economy. Like, it's like, interestingly, and this is what I keep saying, Macron didn't rush everything out like Trudeau did. He learnt by Trudeau's mistakes. But again, I always talk about Macron having a more mature head. He thinks he's a bit more methodical, and I would say perhaps Macron earned his position, whereas we know Trudeau was given it on a silver platter and handed it, you know, as we all know, his dad was all into all this stuff. But I do feel like Macron is trying to include the people more in his decision-making processes, which is not terrible. I mean, we know it's all manipulation and he's pretending to include the people, but he's, you know, it could be, for example, is we're going to do this with the renewables, like we're going to change the infrastructure in society. Let's put it to the vote. Is everybody happy with this kind of going forward? That's just an example. That's not necessarily what he's doing, but he's trying to incorporate the people in the decision-making process. And this is where he's a little bit smarter, because he won't get that sort of uprising, because people are being, I guess you could say, kind of tricked and manipulated, because it's not hard to do that, as we know, with the mass psychosis in the original start of the pandemic, how that tricked and manipulated people. But he's kind of really involving them in big decisions, so it feels like they've got a choice moving forward. Of course, we know it's like manipulated that it'll work in his favour. It usually does work that way, the way things are worded and carefully advertised. And like I said, they hit people hard on their Facebook feeds with all the information they need. It's like when people are going to the vote, we all know that happens. They actually get fed all the information they need to try and change their thoughts. It's all these subliminal messages again. But that's what I'm getting for France and for Macron. He's trying to incorporate the people. And look, that's not a bad thing. It's just that he's smarter at rolling out the reset. It's almost saying to me, it's like he rolls out his red carpet. This is Macron in France. And it's more like diamonds and pearls. So it's like he's got the... He's not just rolling out the red carpet, let's rush all this, and there's all crowds out of control on the side and everything. Macron is very tidy. He's got like the ropes with the gold stands in between, like you'd see when you actually do go to the Oscars or something like that. And he's roped everything off, and he's keeping, like, he's got the people sort of outside so people can walk through, but it's kind of got the diamonds and pearls shining, like on, if you think of the gold stands and the ropes, it's saying he's got the extra touches, which makes it more enticing for people to get involved with the decision-making process. So he's more organised. Macron's more organised. He's an example of one of these global leaders that's more organised. Again, it's that maturity. And I would say he's learnt by a lot of mistakes too, what does work and what doesn't work. I mean, we know he's had his moments as well, but that's what I'm getting for France. Let's see where else we get. I'm getting Australia today. I don't get Australia very often, but I know you guys are always curious what we're up to over here as well, because we seem to follow Canada quite closely. But I am getting Australia, and I'm getting that people are really listening in Australia. I can tell you now, people are listening to our Prime Minister Albanese. He has done nothing, and I've been telling you all this week, but bag out the previous Prime Minister. He is at him and at him about the ministerial roles he sneakily took over and signed off all these agreements and things like this with resources and gas and all this stuff. We know how they do it. They're so sneaky. By stealth, of course. And Albanese will not leave this alone. He keeps writing and writing and writing and writing and talking about it on every interview. And it's kind of getting a little crazy. Like, it's like you're looking at him going, why are you... This is what people are hearing in Australia, see? When they're hearing, I always talk about the Dr. Spock ears off Star Trek. They're listening because they're knowing something's up. And this is where Albanese's got to be really careful, our Prime Minister, because he's going backwards. And people don't want to go backwards. Lots of people, not me personally, but lots of people voted him in thinking, oh, great, we'll have a change of government, because they all wanted to get rid of ScoMo because of all his disastrous decision makings he's had over the years. But they weren't aware, see, that he was part of the reset agenda. Like most of us, if you're here in Australia particularly, we all knew he was part of the big global change that was coming. And so he's focusing back, and people don't want to go back. They don't want to go back and relive all that ScoMo previous minister stuff. And the thing is now people are questioning, people waking up, they're questioning Why isn't he trying to fix the economy? Why isn't he focusing on the health? We've got hospital shortages, teacher shortages, everything. Oh, actually, speaking of teachers, yes, they just had it on the news a minute ago. You will have to laugh because we have huge teacher shortages now because of mandates and people being mandated and forced to get the jab. Well, in Queensland, they've just announced they're going to actually dock the teachers' pays in Queensland. Yep. They're taking, what do they take? 18 weeks, they're deducting their pay, which ends up being like $1,700 or something. They're going to take that off because they're unvaccinated. They're going to dock their pay. It's still going on. What even is this? We're all equal. Everybody got CV virus. It's complete madness. This is madness. Anyway, getting back to, I just had to share that with you because it's just to let you know that there is still vilification around the unjabbed. But, yeah, Albanese, people are questioning, why aren't you fixing our country? Why aren't you fixing the economy? We all know here, we know why he's not fixing it. Because all he's doing is putting the spotlight onto something else, meaning this is common thread through probably out the whole globe. All ministers would be doing this at the moment, putting the spotlight on something else so no one sees all the rubbish that Albanese is bringing in and all the Great Reset agenda he's trying to roll out. Oh, it drives me crazy, just the stupidity of these leaders. Because when they're doing that, they put the spotlight on themselves. It's actually pretty funny, isn't it? Because it causes people to wake up. And this is where these government leaders, you think they're intelligent, but they're not. It's almost like they've got no common sense. If you focus on that, which is things from the past, people are going to go, why aren't you fixing our country? And that's when people start to look, and that's when people start to do their research, and that's when people start to wake up. So I guess in one way, it kind of works in our favour, doesn't it? It means that more people are going to wake up. So I guess we could look at all these things happening globally as a positive, because these global elites, I mean, how stupid can you be just focusing, and they're even talking about legalities and everything now. Like, move on. We all know they're corrupt. We all know Albanese would be corrupt. He's no angel sitting there. Oh my God, it's just gone to total madness, Australia, I tell you. Anyway, that's where we're at in Australia. So that's what's currently happening. Albo's putting the spotlight on something else to get the spotlight. While he's got his red carpet of the Great Reset agenda rolled up, he thinks no one's looking at it, but they are, because they're thinking this is ridiculous. Why aren't you fixing the economy of the country? Housing prices, everything. It's just... people have got common sense. Like I said, they're not in the mass psychosis anymore. Well, they're not. They are. They are for the jab, but they're not in the mass psychosis for everything else, which is, and as we know, as you guys know, it is everything else. They're touching every avenue of our lives. Oh, my God. Hang on. Let's see where else we go. Let's see if there's something to close with today. Oh, the gods. They're saying to us, like, we have to keep smiling. Like, it's really important that we just keep smiling. We keep uplifted. We just keep getting on with it. They always say to us, we've done 3 years of this garbage, which is, but it's like every time we get garbage fed to us, and this is the image that I'm getting from the guides, every time we get garbage fed to us, we have this ability, and it's a way of detaching, I guess. We talk about that a lot here. We have this way of sealing up the garbage bag, putting all the garbage in it, whatever they're feeding us, this is government, and we chuck it in the garbage bag, pull the string, tie it all up in a big knot, and we just take it out and dump it in the trash, in the dumpster, straight away. We don't carry it. See, these people who are still waking up are still carrying those big garbage bags of heavy nonsense and narrative, and it weighs them down. It weighs them down. A lot have started to dump the, probably I would say the jab garbage bag. A lot have been getting off that narrative. We know there's a few stuck, but a lot have been putting that in the garbage and the trash can. A lot of these people over here. But we have this way, getting back to us, we have this way of smiling all the way through it, bagging things up, and just dropping it in the trash. Gosh, I know here, we get sent so many, when you're over 50, which I am, I know, I am, I admit my age. When you're over 50, you get sent these bowel screening tests. I know you guys would get them as well. Go and get screened. Like, they're just at you all the time about health, which is all, as we know, all about the big pharmaceutical companies and the big, you know, health industry making more money. My husband and I, we just throw them in the trash because we believe that you don't want to put your mind on things. If you don't know what you've got, you're better off, because you don't want to put your mind on things and then give it energy. So things like that, that's an example. Things that they feed us, just, which are BS, we just go and put in the trash. We have this great way now of detaching. We can sort out, I guess you could say, it's a way that we can, I mean, the bowel kit's just an example of government just getting into people's homes, basically, with their info. But we have this way of, what's the word? Siphoning out or deciphering, one of those two. I think it's deciphering information, and siphoning as well, if you think of, you know, sorting things out. But we can decipher what's important to us and what we don't need. We have this ability, and that's a part of being awakened, is that you really use all your senses. You don't just sort of see something in black and white and make a decision. We sense things, we know things, we hear things. We have this, it's almost like, well, for me it is, it's like voices in our head. We all have little voices in our head, but it's a matter of whether you're going to listen to them. My voice is just, I have a lot that come in sometimes and chat to me, but we all have them. Everyone gets guidance. That's what spirit does. It guides you. And we have this way of sorting out things that we need, we don't need, people as well, who we need in our life, who we don't, what's going to work for us. A lot of us here have managed to sort of create this different, entirely different, I would say, world for ourselves. We've called it Terra Bella here, meaning beautiful earth. We're trying to make the most of it, get on with our life. We've navigated this ridiculous journey for 3 years, and it's because we've found a way to detach. We've detached from the garbage. If nothing else, we laugh, we cry here, we laugh, we share our experiences, and we've been sharing our journey, and it's a beautiful and magical thing that we're here to kind of support each other, and we have built a community. This isn't just about my channel anymore. I love my channel, and I love being able to get messages to people, but I love more that we do communicate and we can share our laughs and experiences. That's brilliant to me, that we chat to each other down below. You know, we've all felt quite isolated for these last 3 years, and finally we're finding that real connection again with other human beings, which we were told we weren't allowed to go near for like 3.5 years, 3 years rather. So that's what I'm getting. We've got this really good detachment and way of sorting out information. Hang on a sec. Let's see if there's something to close with today. Yeah, and they're showing me. They're still showing us sitting on the mountain. We're just sitting there. Our flags are flapping in the wind. And this is with humility too. I always talk about us being on the mountain with humility. Terra Bella Mountain. Oh, we're always up there just sitting, and we're just like waiting in this calm, peace, serenity for people to join us. Now, they are. The guides are, we said the other day, these people are starting to climb up the mountain because they have to climb the mountain to get to the other side, to feel free again of the government narrative. But it's showing me them with like their picks and their what do you call them, mountain climbing shoes with the spikes, and they're pulling themselves up. So these people are moving. They're moving up the mountainside, and that's what I want you to really picture in your mind today. They are following behind us. They're working hard. They might get a bit breathless at times, as we know, with the altitude. You got to come up, and this is the awakening process. It's getting to the higher vibrations. But you've got to work through the layers. So you've got to work through your hurts. You've got to work through your past emotions. You've got to work through things, and you've got to start to really listen to your, you know, signs and synchronicities. You've got to go through this journey in order to sort of get to that mountaintop where you can finally relax, open up, take that chill pill, and just find that sense of calm, which is what we've found on this channel here. We've all found each other, and it's a place that we feel safe. It's been a hell of a journey. We could all say that. It's still going on. Like I said, here in Queensland, they're still vilifying unjabbed people and docking their pay, the teachers. you know, this is still happening. I know it's happening where you guys are. Let me know if there's things like that happening. Hang on a sec, just one tick. Yeah, and they're just saying, like, these people waking up are having to get past the icy stretches. Like, when you think of climbing a mountain, it's not an easy thing. And I don't mean literally climbing a mountain. Well, you can think of that as an analogy. But these people having to climb up into their higher realms and start to live from that higher, what would you say, higher senses. And you know, that's not easy. It's showing me there's like icy stretches that are so slippery that they're struggling to get over them, which means you think of it, for example, I'm not saying all, but a lot of men really struggle dealing with their emotions. They just don't express their emotions, do they? So this is what we're getting. There's people who have these blockages who it's not easy to deal with suppressed emotions and get them up and sort of talk about them or get them out. This is what people struggle with. Some people might have depression. These are the people waking up, and they might have to seek help. They might have to get medicated, or they might have to see a psychologist in order to move through to those next levels that take them to that higher. I always talk about how we've been through a lot of soul breakdowns, might have been through depression. We've had traumas in our life that have moved us through, perhaps even quickly, into these other kind of dimensions and ways of living. Because you think about it, we're sort of, we're born on this planet as this little baby. We come out, plop, there we are. And we're pretty free and easy. And then as we go along in our life, we become the toddler and everything, and we start to wake up to what's kind of going on around us, and we might get a sore tooth, and that creates pain, and no one comes if we're, you know, if they're sound asleep, they might not hear us, and then we're really sad, and that creates sadness in our body. And all that journey, even through primary school, you might get bullied, something might happen, or someone says something that you're ugly, or, you know, all these things happen to us through life. And these things cause us to start to contract and squeeze up. So we've had this journey, and it's not until something happens that wakes you up again, and that's what these people are going through, that you release all that again, and you find the freedom, and you don't hurt anymore, and the pain stops, and you go back to who you really were in that very beginning when you popped out as the baby. You were a free spirit. You didn't have all these stresses on you. I mean, we still have, I always say, we get the ripple effect, you know. We still get the ripple effect from all these things naturally, but they don't have that tsunami wave that comes over us and knocks us over anymore, because we don't allow it to happen. Our energy doesn't bring a tsunami wave and wash over us. It brings ripples, because our vibration has changed that much that we've found this sense of calm and peace, and we're sitting on the mountain. And with humility, as I say. So look, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I think that's a lot to absorb, but, you know, this is happening. There's a lot of changes going on. People are seeing it. People are waking up. We just have to trust in the process and just allow it to be and unfold. It's unfolding at a nice pace. We need these people to wake up properly. And it is. It's happening. Don't worry. They're waking up. Oh, God. Oh, it's so good just viewing it from afar, isn't it? With the like binoculars, just watching it all happening from the mountain. We're watching people starting to climb up the mountain with our binoculars. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that today. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like buttons, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Take care. Bye from Australia. Bye.